Hello there, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Nuts to Nuggets. My name is Oluwayomi Ute, and it's such a joy to come your way again this very beautiful Monday morning, the second day of August. And August promises to be a very exciting month. If you are feeling tired, dragged, buckle up, wake up, decide to be happy because August is loaded with good things for you. I know it like I know my name. So I need you to cooperate with God and get excited because something good is coming your way. So today, again, like I will always ask you, please like the video, share it, let somebody know that there is something called Nugs to Nuggets. And again, pass your comments. Let me have your feedback. I'm so grateful for all the feedback I got over the past editions. It's been so amazing. I'm so grateful. And so this morning, we're still on mental health. You might say, Yomi, why mental health? It's core. Mental health is foundational to every other health that you can enjoy. For you to enjoy prosperity, for you to enjoy good relationships, for you to enjoy whatever, your mental health is key. It's core. And today, we'll be talking about the first aid in mental health. And my guest today is a darling friend. She's a certified emotional intelligence, fear mastery, and anger management coach. She's a certified mental health first aid coach and a trained depression and trauma counselor. She's the host of Onboarding with Dorothy. She's the founder of Onboarding International, an organization that gives people the opportunity to acknowledge where they are in life, release the burdens they have consciously or unconsciously placed on themselves, and also give themselves permission to heal and be all they could be. She's been on this show before, so she's not a guest if you have followed me on Nugs to Nuggets. She is a scribe. She's a wellness queen, and her life's goal is to bring completeness to everything she lays her hands on and to bring wholeness and sense of worth to everyone she comes in contact with. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to bring on the Nugs to Nuggets stage this beautiful morning, Dorothy Ndidi. Wow, good to have you again.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. And you look amazing.
You also do look very amazing. I mean, you're just glowing. And you know, every time I look at you and look at your profile, I'm just encouraged and I'm amazed. And I really thank God for you and for all that you stand for today. So, Dora, let's talk. What exactly is mental health?
Okay, so I have written down my notes because, of course, I'm going to say some things from my heart, but I think I have some things just jotted down, and I will start from there. And I'm going to assume that the people I'm talking to are not mental health professionals, so I'm going to bring it down to our everyday life. I'm going to say everything almost in a layman's language so that everyone understands. So first, mental health is your state of well-being, is how you are, spiritual and body, and I'm going to elaborate on that. Mental health is your ability to do normal everyday chores, your ability to endure normal everyday stress, because there are some stress you have to go through in a day. They are normal stress. So your ability to go through those stress, your ability to be productive and to deliver results. So you're given a task on a daily basis, your ability to deliver those tasks is in your mental health. Your ability to attribute positively to your community and your immediate environment. Your ability to have positive conversation and interaction with people around you. You are not toxic. You are just somebody that everybody can relate to. You also being able to control your emotions, to know this is me, this is what I do, and this is what I can do, right? So all these attributes to mental health. And I'm also going to state 3 things that mental health is not.
Okay.
Mental health is not weakness or personality flaws. The fact that you're weak does not mean that you have mental illness. It does not mean that you're, oh, sorry, because someone talks to you and you decide not to talk back. And if you have that choleric or personality flaws, you know, some things are going wrong, it doesn't also mean that you have mental illness. Because sometimes you need to attribute it. This person is wanting results. no, this person is not well, and all of that. Also, mental health is not violent, because a lot of people who are suffering from mental health, they are calm and timid.
Wow.
They are not able to defend themselves. While others are on the extreme of being violent, others are the extreme of being timid. So you can't just attribute mental health illness to everyone you see on the road who is violent. That is not mental health. Mental health is not being too emotional. So any little thing you're crying. You could be an empath. Empath is someone who feels the emotions of other people, who is compassionate, has extra emotions to help. And sometimes if you're not an empath, you can hardly help other people because you don't understand what they are feeling or where they are coming from. So because somebody cries often, becomes emotional often, doesn't mean that the person has mental illness. Some people suffering mental illness are numb. They are numb to their environment. They are numb to things around. They have the I don't care attitude. And sometimes you can think, oh, this person is brave. But what is actually happening is it's a reaction. They've gone numb to everything around, and so they don't care. So you can't just sit and judge that this is what mental health is and this is what mental health is not. We are going to talk about the symptoms and all of that later, but I just wanted to make that clear, that the fact that someone is violent, the fact that somebody is seem weak, and the fact that somebody is too emotional doesn't mean that they're having mental health disorder. And the last thing I would like to also say is that there are areas to look out for when you're trying to know if you're mentally balanced. Now, we talk about spirit, soul, and body from the scriptures. Sorry, I do everything. I relate mental health to scriptures. That is me, because I always want people to see that God is not just interested in using you. He's not a slave master. He's interested in every aspect of your life, right? So there is a wellness pyramid that shows that there are 6 core areas that needs to be okay for you to say that, oh, I am mentally sound. One, there is physical, where you talk about your health, fitness, ability to go out, and every other thing. Then you have intellectual, your ability to read, understand, and have conversations with people. You can hold a conversation. You can do things that you ought to do. And there is third one, there is environmental. How do you relate to your immediate environment? How do you accept people? What do you do? Do you get to a place and then you are timid, or do you adapt? Adaptability quotient, your ability to adapt to your environment and the changes it brings. Then social. Then you have, of course, emotional, how you handle emotions, your response to activities, to trauma. It happens. And the last one that is very important to me is it's also spiritual, your spiritual life. How do you relate to God? Because as a mental health practitioner, as a therapist, as a counselor, one of the things I have realized is that sometimes every other aspect of our lives are whole. We are okay. But there's just one problem, and that is our spiritual aspect. Yes, we believe everything, but there is still that little gap of, oh, I don't trust God. Oh, I am praying, but I don't believe that God can answer me. God, you know what? Let me have option B, because I don't think this can work. And I feel that sometimes it comes from our relationship with our parents. Now, our fathers are the examples of God. So if you can't trust your father, if you tell your father, Dad, please, I need kids, and your father says, do you think I grow money on trees? Or your father says, my friend, get out. The next minute that you're relating with God, you're going to think God will throw you out. That is why sometimes we find it difficult to trust God. We find it difficult to believe. So we are praying and we're having option B. And it goes beyond that. It goes with also your sibling relationship. A lot of people cannot relate with people in church or in their communities because they don't trust their siblings. So spiritual, everything family represents who God is and how God wants to deal with us. And a lot of people also have not gotten to that place where they see God as lover, where they love the Lord, love the Holy Spirit, because their marriage is not working. And our marriage is a representation of church. That's why Jesus is the head, and then we are the body. And what is husband? Head. And everything that follows. So if every other aspect is okay, but your spiritual aspect is not working, it also shows that there is something wrong that you need to deal with.
Wow. You just got me writing on and on. And I'm sure some people on this call are also surprised. When you talked about things a mental illness is not, I'm like, wow. It's not weakness, it's not personality flaws, it's not. So I'm hearing that mental illness is like being an extremist. So some of them are actually very quiet, very numb, and they look very gentle. And some are at the other extreme of violence and every other thing. So mental health is bringing yourself to that middle point where you are the extreme. But the core areas you talked about, and I really don't want to practically repeat everything you said because they're all worth re-emphasizing. When you're talking about the 6 core areas, Auntie Pinto says emotional, environmental, and spiritual are 3 of the 6 that really needs to be examined because we take them for granted, particularly the spiritual. And again, this takes me to what the edition we had sometime back on parenting. All of us need to be careful how we raise the next generation before we make them extremists, thinking that we are disciplining them. PF says that, are you being disciplined? Are you being subdued? And that's the thing. Are you just being compressed, suppressed, and you end up not being the person you should be? And when you said family life represents who God is for everybody on this course, even if you're not a parent, you're a sibling. You are an example of God to somebody. We all need to be very careful, very careful.
I think,
go ahead.
Someone said something last year that really got me, and I got to that point where I said, it's either I enter marriage crossway or I don't. And the person said, for every time there is a divorce, especially in the Christian environment, it reminds God of what happened in the Garden of Eden.
Wow.
Because Adam living was almost like a separation between God and man before Jesus came. So every time you divorce, for every time you leave, you are reminding God that there's a repetition. And that's why one of the things that God hates divorce. He didn't use hate for a lot of words in the Bible, but God hates divorce. So you could see that family is very key and very important. For every time there is a divorce, you remind God of Adam's separation from the garden.
Wow. That is huge. Every time there is a divorce, you remind
in the Christian environment.
In the Christian environment. So true. For the non-Christians, that spiritual void is just there, and they can't put it together because without God, there is no core. Thank you so much, Cara. You are shaking some tables this morning. But let me ask you, you really are shaking tables. That's the honest truth. You're not shaking. You are really breaking them. You're not shaking them.
I thought I want to eat amala. We need some firewood.
So you want to break the tables and use the legs of the firewood. So now, I haven't read all of this out. Areas to look out for in issues of mental health. Yes, are you an example of God to somebody? It's Jesus. You are the Jesus that we see. So just be that Jesus in everything you do. And that's all Christianity is all about. So talking about first aid in mental health. Now, people, when somebody thinks all of this, it thinks psychiatrist, it thinks go to the mental hospital. Are there things to do first aid? What do you notice? So let's talk about symptoms. And when you notice them, what do you do? Should you just go and get antidepressants and poke it down your throat or the person's throat? What do you do?
talking about antidepressants, I had to use one in 2018 and it was horrible. I couldn't use one of the side effects of mine was I couldn't use the bathroom for 3 weeks. Like I couldn't poo for 3 solid weeks. I was eating, I was drinking, I was doing everything. But for 3 weeks, oh God, it was bad. So I don't, of course, there are situations where you need to see a psychiatrist, you need to check in at a hospital, but it is not your first option. It's not the go-to option. It's what you do when you think every other thing has failed. So that's how you now, resolve that option. But you don't think, oh, because I'm feeling depressed, anxious, and any of those things that I need to check in. And I think I need to mention when you talk about mental health disorder, there are aspects to look out for. You talk about depression, and there are stages of depression. There's anxiety, and under anxiety, you have panic attack, you have phobias, and all of that. You have psychosis, you have schizophrenia, you have bipolar, substance use disorder. So those are some things. When you talk about mental health disorder, someone is suffering either of these things, right? It could be in the early stage, in the middle stage, or advanced stage. So what are the things to look out for? Because some of these symptoms could be as a result of a change in your daily activities. It could be as a result of life stress, a trauma, something just happens, right? So you could feel any of them. But it becomes a mental health disorder when it is consistent. It is for depression, it has to be consistent for more than 2 weeks. So you don't listen to what I'm saying and say, oh, I have this. Oh, I have mental illness. Oh, I have insomnia. I have mental illness. It has to be consistent. So I'm feeling the need to stress that consistency so that we all don't run off thinking, oh, I have mental illness. Oh, because what's the word here? I am having insomnia. Mental illness. I've not been able to eat. Mental illness. No, it has to be consistent for more than 2 weeks. And you have to notice you have to trace other patterns. So it's not just one thing you're looking out for. It's a combination of a lot of things. And then you also know that I wasn't like this before. Something happened that brought me to this place. So I penned down a few symptoms, and the first one is prolonged sadness. You are just sad for a very long time for no reason. Yes, some things can happen in your day that makes you sad, but when the sadness goes 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something is wrong. Loss of appetite or excessive eating. You used to eat moderately, but now you don't eat at all, or you are eating too much, impulsive eating, impulsive buying. There is something wrong that you need to check. Insomnia or sleeping too much. Overgeneralizing. You overgeneralize a lot. Everybody is the same. Everything is the same. Psychosomatic disorder. This one is something we need to check. So psychosomatic disorder is when you feel physically what is happening in your emotions. And for me, I felt this for a very long time. And I remember between 2015 and 2016, I kept going to the hospital for stomach pain. And the doctors kept saying, there is nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, you can't tell me there is nothing wrong. My stomach is paining me. Was I lying? No. Could they see anything? No. Because it is my emotion that is playing out.
Wow.
So some chest pain, back pain, shoulder pain, stomach pain, ankle pain, and some pains that we feel in our body that we take medicine for that is not working, sometimes are a result of psychosomatic disorder. Your stomach pain is telling you that you are not set with that. You still have some issues, some forgiveness to do. Your chest pain could be telling you that you are hurting. Someone betrayed you. There is pain. There is there are things going on in your heart. You have pain, you have a wound that you need to take care of. Some back pain is you're carrying too much load. You're burdening yourself. There are things you're carrying that needs to go. Right? So some back pain is, I saw someone one day, I think I was in church, and he kept holding his back. He was holding his back like he was in pain. And all the Holy Spirit was telling me was he was not in alignment. Some things he's supposed to do were not aligned. So in my back corner, I kept saying, Lord, help him to align, help him to align. That's because he was having back pain. He didn't tell me he was having back pain, but I knew that back he was holding was not because he was feeling tired. It's not tiredness. It's just that he's working out of alignment in some areas. Some ankle pain, you don't stay and your ankle is paining you. You're walking in the wrong direction. So our bodies sometimes tell us what is going on in our emotions. But because we are used to, I have a headache, pop a pill. I have stomach pain, pop a pill. We don't take time to ask ourselves what is going on. Why am I feeling this way? But if you begin to take note and take care of yourself, you will know that, okay, so sometimes before I take medicine, I'm trying to find out what is going on. And I remember a time I'm like, if I have a headache, to me, it means that there are people I'm supposed to reach out to and intercede that I've not interceded for. I will take migraine drug, I will take all these things, and it subsides for 5 minutes and then it starts again. So the thing is knowing. So for psychosomatic disorder, it's very important that you know that the symptoms you feel in your body is telling you that something is wrong on your inside. And it's not the doctor's fault when they tell you that there's nothing wrong, that they can't see anything. They are not lying, and you are not also lying. It is now time for you to go back and check your emotions. Because sometimes the doctor said there's nothing wrong with you. They make you feel like you're lying, and then you feel nobody believes me. How do I get out of here? And it gives you another mental health problem. You lose trust. So why do we get ourselves into all this? If we can just master ourselves and know that not everything requires a doctor or a pill. But if you've done everything you can and it's not working, you can always go back for them to check you. Right? The next feeling is loss of interest or pleasure in most of the normal activities. For married people, loss of pleasure in sex, hobbies, chores, the things that just used to once excite you. All of a sudden, you don't excite you anymore. The things you used to do for fun, all of a sudden you don't. You love to go out, but suddenly you just want to be indoor. You want to be by yourself. You're working too much. Okay, I'll come to that place. Feeling of emptiness, hopelessness, and helplessness. Feeling of emptiness, hopelessness, and helplessness. Remember that it has to be consistent. Easily irritated. Everything irritates and angers you, right? That is a sign. You have constant feeling of fatigue, always tired, mentally tired, physically tired. You've not done anything, but you are just tired. It's showing you that there is something you need to look out for in your life. Forgetfulness, always forgetting. That has been good, because at the peak of when I was depressed, I remember one day walking to a bus stop and I forgot where I was going to. I was almost crossing the road and I was asking myself, where am I going to? And I stood there for minutes before I remembered that I was actually going to cross. And for some people, and then I was walking. When I close the office door, I'll have to go and come back.
Wow.
I'll have to go and come back because I am thinking, did I close the door? Did I shut the windows? Did I change over? So sometimes when I want to close, I'll have to do some signs so that when I remember, oh yes, I closed the door, and that.
Wow.
So next is trouble thinking or concentrating. A lot of people think they are thinking, but they are not thinking. A lot of people think that, okay, critical thinking, because yes, they are thinking about their problem, but constructive thinking, some people can't think, they can't concentrate. Remember, it has to be consistent. So that it's not that you're tired from your normal day activities and you're like, I beg, I can't think. Oh, now I have depression or I have anxiety, I have this. No, that is not the case. It's the case that you've been forgetful and you're having trouble thinking and concentrating for a very long time. Now, there is unexplainable weight loss or weight gain. So for some people, it's on the extreme of they are losing weight, and the others is on the extreme that they are gaining weight. They are not eating. It's just a normal day and they drink water and they've blown up. Some people, they are eating everything and they are still losing weight. Unexplainable, right? So there is the case of you keeping fit, and for some people like us that we can eat for for a nation. Okay, if for a nation it doesn't show, right? But it has to be, you were not like this before. You were not like this before. Like the Bible said, it was not like this from the beginning. Something happened along the way for you to know this. And another is addiction. A lot of people are addicted, and guess what? To work, to their job. They are using the job to cover face. They leave very early, 5 a.m. in the morning. They come back 11 p.m. at night. They get the outstanding staff of the year, but they are running away from a lot of things. They are running. So the fact that somebody is very efficient at work does not mean that every other thing is working in his or her life. That could just be their safe place. That could just be their safe haven. It just means, so that is why you don't judge people based on what you are seeing. You don't judge someone based on one area of their life that you think you're seeing. You have to be sure. You have to check. You have to know that there are other things that makes up a man, not just the one aspect that you see. So I'm taking time to explain so that we know, right? So some people are addicted to work. There is a serious addiction. They are addicted to work. You see them as the best staff, best colleague, taking all the awards, but every other aspect of their life is dying. And that's the only thing that makes them feel good. The hail, the congratulations, the applause they get is feeling their dopamine, their feel-good hormones. It just helps them to continue, and you think, oh, this person is good, this person got it. Ain't got nothing. Addicted to mobile phones. Some people can be in the midst of crowd and they are alone. Yes, mobile phone. Addicted to mobile phones. Always on your phone, nothing else. You don't see anyone else, you don't do anything else. And it's not as if you're working, getting contracts, doing all those things. It's just that you are addicted. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. Your mobile phone is a strong tower. Your work is a strong tower. Right? Substance abuse. Of course, we know the drug abuse and every other thing that goes into that addiction. And you have bitterness and constantly seeing bad in yourself and others. The person is just bitter. I have come across people who they never see anything good in things or others. You're wearing white, you should have worn black. Black looks good on you. You're wearing black. This is your black. Why don't you wear short sleeve? You're eating, this your rice is not. As in, they are always, before they see one good thing in you, they have to see 5 bad things. Before they give you one good comment, they talk 5, 10 horrible comments, and it makes them feel good. They feel like when I've belittled you, I am good. So bitterness. So when you see someone who is constantly bitter, wrong comments, negative comments, nothing good, sees only evil, it is not necessarily about you. That is why also you need to get to that place where the applause and comments of people don't move you, because sometimes they talk from their overflow. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it is what they have stored up on their inside. And if you see, you begin to see scriptures playing out in our lives, but just because it doesn't have Matthew 1, John's 2, and all of that, we don't sometimes see it. So someone that is excessively bitter is a sign that there is something wrong and going on the inside, because they don't feel good, and sometimes it's about themselves. You tell them, oh, you look pretty. Are you sure? This my makeup is not even nice. Are you sure I'm pretty? They don't even do it to others, but they do it to themselves. So it is a sign. And of course, thought of death and suicide attempts.
Dora, I want to pause you here. I clearly, what is your next week Monday like? We have to have a part 2, and we've done 30 minutes, but we have not even scratched the topic at all. I thought we were closing on today, but it's looking like Jesus is Lord. A lot of things we take for granted. A lot of things we ignore. A lot of things we find funny are actually saying what is going on in us that we need to address. You know, a friend of mine called me up during the week and was going on and on and on about how this generation has now taken mental health disorder as a buzzword. And, you know, you open up by saying the things that mental health is not, but the things mental health is are huge. And a lot of us go through them. Somebody just said on the call now that she had it and they'll go to hospital and say there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong. Meanwhile, she knew she was dying. Hello, she was dealing with something that was within her. I know that's why I will always say that 3 John 2 is real. God wishes above all things that we prosper. That prosperity is not money. So, and be in health as your soul prospers. The inner man, the things going inside, is the bedrock for every other thing we are saying.
Yeah.
So, Dora, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to allow you wrap it up in another 1 minute, and then next Monday, we are going to start on drug abuse. But I will step down drug abuse to do a part 2 with you. Because anytime you hear drug abuse, you say, marijuana, cocaine, forget that we abuse even Panadol. Thank you. So
Panadol.
We think it's fun. A little headache, boom, we've popped it in. And we are killing our liver, things are happening, and we just think, I'm not into drug abuse, or me, God forbid, I can never be in. But you are doing it every day. You know, so that's going to where we are going. But I want to ask the guest speaker, who is a darling of mine, to just move off by 1 week. And next week, Dora, in the name of the Lord, everybody is saying yes, part 2. In the name of the Lord, Dora, we're going to take off from, having said all of this about what mental health is, what is the first aid? Where do we start from? We're going to do that next week. So in a minute, in less than a minute, wrap up today.
Okay, so the last 2 options were, of course, anxiety, restlessness, and then you have feeling of worthlessness or making others feel worthless, which is also, you can tag it to the bitterness feeling. But it's important that we know ourselves. We need to go on a journey of self-mastery, not even self-discovery now, but self and emotional mastery. And that's one of the things I have stated for the prevention that we'll do next week. But here is what I want everyone on this call to do for me this week. From today, take time to list out 7 emotions you feel on a daily basis. For the people who have been on this call for the past 34 minutes, how many emotions have you felt? Let's start from there. How many emotions have you felt for the last 34 to 35 minutes? That's what I would love us to do. How many emotions have you felt? So we try to master your emotions. And you know, I saw someone posted something. The person said, if you're going through something, it was on Twitter, if you're going through trouble, no vex, now your time. Another person said, I can't, almost like, now your time. The person said, so go through no verse. The third person said, and if you tire, make you kill yourself. And it sounded very funny. But I saw it and I was upset. And I said, how did we become this norm? So I think it's time for us to check ourselves, check the things we do, check our reactions, our responses. So just use this week to do self-evaluation. And by next week, we're going to talk about the prevention. And trust me, if you take responsibility, you might not need to see a doctor, because there are things you can do. Yes, if it has gotten to the extreme case of seeing a doctor, then you can always go back to see a doctor or to even confirm. But this week, just one assignment: pen down all the emotions you feel, at least 7 in a day. And if possible, note when you felt that emotions, the events that took place for you to feel that emotions. Because sometimes we hold a lot of emotions, and at the end of the day, we think, oh, I had a bad day. Someone said, did you really have a bad day, or you had a bad 5 minutes? Was it actually a bad day? Or it was just 5 minutes you did not identify on time to rectify that expanded into the whole of your 24 hours? And how do you do that? By knowing that, okay, I am taking charge of my emotions. Now I feel happy. I just felt sad. Oh, it was because of this person's comment. Oh, I was disappointed. Oh, I was this. If you're able to do that, then we know that everything is under control. So we continue from there next week, and we'll talk about the preventions and every other aspect.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. I truly do appreciate it. I'm taking you backstage now, and next week, Monday, 7:45, we'll take it on from where you have stopped. Thank you so much. Wow. I thought today in another 20 minutes we could wrap it up. Mental health is so huge. It's like a castle, Emeka says, under siege. And so true. Those who are outside want to come in. Those who are in, they won't come out. And it's so true. I thank every single person that has been on this call. And I want to ask you a favor. Let's spread the word. Let's help our world be a better place by making people aware of this cankerworm that is just going everywhere and ravaging the society. And let's be able to curb it. We don't need to get to a psychiatrist if we get it on time. And for me, it's about knowing who you are. Know yourself, and to thyself be true. So that's it for today. We've taken more than we would normally do. I apologize, and I pray you understand. But beyond it, please spread the word. Let's remove the veil on mental health. Let's totally unveil. Let's unmask it. Let's deal with it, and let's make our world a better place. And so until I come your way next week, Monday, 7:45, remember, if you can think it, you can be it, you can have it. And so together, we win all the time. Have a wonderful week ahead, and see you next week, Monday. God bless you. I appreciate you. Remember, like the video, share it, and let somebody know there is Knocks to Nuggets. And a big thank you to those that will watch this video thereafter. I truly do appreciate you. God bless you.